not even tell you've had a haircut.
Really? I haven't had an haircut today. I had an haircut before I left. Hello, and welcome to Code and Colour.
We discuss everything from video games, animation to digital drawing.
I am your NASA space pilot host, Josh.
And I am your glitch abusing, Starfield playing Tyler.
Good. How have you been, man?
I have been not too shabby. It's weird that you asked me first. I always find it always catches me off guard when you ask me first. But yeah, what have I been up to? I have not done a great deal other than play Starfield. But I did get some tattoos done. I got one of my boy Bulbasaur at last, and one for my beautiful dog. You can't really see him very well, so this is one for my beautiful dog, who sadly passed away about a month ago.
We'll put a picture up here.
Yeah, both of the pictures now. Bulbasaur, Smithy. There you go. So I had them done, which was fun. It just makes, every time I get one or two done, it just makes me want more. So
Like therapy.
another one. It is like therapy, isn't it? Yeah, it's quite addictive. Just been playing a lot of Starfield. Boy, oh boy, have I got quite far. Obviously, Josh, you've missed a great deal of that. But yeah, haven't really watched much animated stuff lately. I finished that Kazazimoto that I recommended last week. So finished that.
How was it?
Great, really good, really enjoyed it. So good, definitely underrated. So if you haven't seen it, you should get on it, people. But yeah, how have you been, buddy?
Good. I've been having withdrawals, I'll say.
Or otherwise known, he's been on holiday.
Yeah. Been on holiday. Went to Gran Canaria with baby's first holiday, who I must say was the best behaved baby I've ever seen in my entire life, and actually got comments from other people going, I had no idea there was a baby behind me on the plane. I was like, yes, because he slept on me the entire time. And Molly. I have to say that because if she watches this podcast, she'll be like, oh, he slept on me as well. But yeah, he was a great baby. We spent a week in Gran Canaria, and I just cried myself to sleep every night that I wasn't playing Starfield. But on the plus side, I did play a couple of other games while I was out there, because I took my ever portable, beautiful device Switch with me. So I played Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which, if I was to describe Kirby to you, it is the Mario Odyssey of Kirby games. And that is the highest praise I can give it. It is not like... It's very linear, but it's like linear in a sense of like you have an A to B to get to, but then there's like C and D path that you can get to B, obviously. But it's just doing little puzzles on the way and doing like little things, and it's really good, and I really enjoyed it. I've also been playing Pokemon Arceus, Legends Arceus.
Finally,
yeah, under Tyler's recommendation. So I bought both of them too. Arceus is a weird one. It's hard. I have to tread carefully here because I know how much of a fan Tyler is, but it's a very different Pokemon game. Like, yeah, it's very different, and
it's what Pokemon's needed for so long. I think so long, and then they did it, and I was like, finally.
The thing that I'm not going to say bouncing off. I am going to sort of give it some go. Obviously, when Starfield fizzles out, so I'll probably play it in like 2 or 3 years. But when I do eventually go back to it, it's got a bit of a steep learning curve. It's a hard game to get your head around, and once you do,
it is.
It makes sense. Like, you can make your own Pokeballs and things like that, and it is decent. But there's not a lot of like direction at the moment, and I'm kind of like wandering around and trying to find like what I need to do and what the whole like. And I've battled a few Pokemon, and it is really good. But it's not very. I want to say it is newcomer friendly, but it is not very newcomer friendly. It's like if you're a Pokemon fan.
I mean, to be fair, Josh, you haven't played since Gold and Silver.
No, and I put
Let's Go.
Yeah, and I played Let's Go, and I was like, oh, this is the Pokemon I'm familiar with. Like this is very different. It's very good, and I quite enjoy like learning different things about it and doing all these different things. But it's very much like it's like the change from like Zelda, Ocarina of Time or Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild. It's that kind of change where you're like, oh, I don't like this, but as I'm playing more of it, I'm like, oh, actually, it's quite good. So
you will, yeah. You'll become more familiar with how the mechanics work, and obviously there's probably a lot of Pokemon you're looking at going, I have no idea what these are. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that?
I've also done a bit of drawing.
Oh, so have I, to be fair.
Yeah.
What have you drawn?
You know I've drawn. So I drew...
Oh, he did, yes. So Josh drew me a lovely picture of Bulbasaur, but with his back legs in wheels because of my lovely dog that sadly passed away, was in a similar situation. It was very lovely. I actually really liked it. I will put that on the screen for you all to see as well. So, yeah. Thank you very much, my friend.
I drew that, and I've also been drawing... I had an idea of like what... So when you're creative, I haven't actually told you this yet. It's quite a hot scoop. So when you're creative, you think about ideas all the time. Your brain's always going, and you're like, oh, I could make that, or I could do that, or I could do this, and like, could I make a TV show like this, or could I make a game? And I always thought there's a bit of an untapped resource in terms of like, what if you had a game where it was like God of War, but you were part of like a tribe.
Right.
In a sense of like really violent like God of War, but you're a tribes person. And I kind of like had this image of like, like if Tarzan was feral, like Disney's Tarzan was like feral and like was like corkscrewing people's heads off, and he puts all sinew and stuff, and he's like like that. Anyway, I do get this just roll around to a point. I read a cheeky little comic book on my holidays because that's what I do. I get comic books. I don't read them when I'm at home. I read them when I go on holiday. And I got...
Which was?
There's a comic book made by a nice little indie actor called Keanu Reeves. And he's either written, I think he co-wrote it, or in some capacity, but the comic book's called Berserker.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Berserker. Yeah.
So I've got the volume 1 and 2 of that, and as I'm reading it, basically it starts out that Berserker can't die because he's an immortal thing that's been brought down from the heavens. And I hadn't read this prior to me thinking of this idea, but he's a 78,000-year-old tribesperson from like some old tribe of whatever, and has like an old time like name and all this sort of thing, and it's really violent. And I was like reading it and I'm like, oh my god, this is exactly what I would make, so that idea just tanked straight away. I was like,
it really does go to show with things like that you've just never had an original thought in your life.
Like I was reading the comic book and I was like, god, this is really violent, it's part of a tribe, this would be really good. I did think that like you could make a really good game out of this. Like it could be like hunting like people, or you could put him in like a different time, like a Predator kind of thing, like put him in a different time period, or him being 70,000. I was like, you could just make a Berserker game. And that's like how it sort of like spirals.
I'm surprised it's not been picked up as an animated series.
Oh my god, it so should. It's so, and voice Keanu Reeves. Come on, the guy looks like Keanu Reeves. Berserker, he is Keanu Reeves. So yeah, I was trying to like make that and like dabble with that. So I've been drawing like tribes people and like long haired like feral Tarzans, and then yesterday, prior to me coming back on my flight, I dabbled in bouncing a ball in animation.
Oh, you did? Good.
Yeah. I realised that like it's hard to sort of like, if you've got like five layers, whatever they're called, 5 layers, your ball goes like that. Because I tried to make it so it'd go down a couple, hit the thing, deform, spring off, and then go off, and then you'd have like an impact, and it's trying to sort of like, each one of those you've got to double so it's more fluid as it lands, and then at the end you've got to sort of carry things across. And then I tried sort of like moving a car, and like having a car that's stationary but the track move, so the thing's constantly looks like it's having like perpetual motion as it's going through, and it was just like angling and it was getting overly complicated, and I wasn't like due to fly.
Fair. I mean, no, good for you for giving it a go. But I think this might be a nice point to touch on. So while Josh was away, and we have discussed it a lot while he was away, Procreate finally had their event. And I've been looking forward to it for a while. I think we both have, really, to be fair. So Procreate, there was a lot of speculation about what they were going to do. They kind of came and was like, 10 years ago we changed the face of sort of digital art. Now we're going to do it again. And they have come out with Procreate Dreams, which is their new animation software. And I think if you are an indie developer now and you want to get into animation, I think now is a better time than ever to do it.
We are eating good.
Yet. We are eating good. It's going to be a great piece of software, and I think it's going to change animation on sort of tablets forever. Like, I think it's going to be a lot more user-friendly than some of the other softwares out there. Honestly, Calipeg, get in the bin. Toon Squid, get in the bin. It's Procreate Dreams, and you can do everything on there.
Yeah.
Like, everything. So, yeah, if you haven't seen it, there is a trailer for the new software coming out. And the trailer is on YouTube, so you can just type in Procreate Dreams, it will come up. But that comes out on my birthday. My 30th birthday. Thank you, Procreate. What a birthday present. So on the 22nd of November this year, it will be the release of Procreate Dreams. So, yeah. But today we're going to be... Oh, go on.
I was going to say, which is annoying that it's on the 22nd of November, because I actually want it right now.
Yeah, that is quite annoying.
I kind of wanted them to be like, oh, this is Procreate Dreams. It's available now. And I'd be like...
Yeah, I don't know why. I wonder why they've waited, to be honest. But
fine-tuning, probably.
All good. You gotta wait for it.
I'm excited.
Gotta wait for all the good things in life.
I told Molly about it, and I was like, I'm getting that. She was like, I know you are. I was like, thank you.
There's literally... I'm getting it. Yeah. But, so we will probably at the time, we'll probably do a bit of a deep dive into that software when it comes out. But for today, we're continuing with our Starfield series, and we're going to talk to you more about the animation, the action, so sort of the combat and things, and more the exploration side of things. So, Josh, shall we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Starfield Part 2. Part dos, part ni. That's Japanese.
I think it isn't it? Is it ni? I think.
Yeah. Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku. Hang on. Ichi, ni, san, yon, go, roku. I think it's nana. Yeah, nana, hachi, yon. No. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember nana. No, it's you, and then Q. No, Q, and then Ju.
We did an icebreaker in a row, and it taught us that, and it was like one of them to remember. It was like ichi, ni, and then like sun or san shi, and you had to point it. And that's how you got like learn it.
It's not san shi, it's san yon.
Whatever. It's been a while. Anyway.
Right. Irrelevant. So part 2, part dos, part deux, part ni. Right. So Starfield Part 2. Yeah. Lots of space exploration, and boy, does this game offer a lot. But it does offer a lot of issues, and I think fails in some departments. But before we get into the kind of negative side of it, I think we should start looking at some of the good things. So I have obviously had a week longer than Josh, because Josh decided to go to Gran Canaria just after Starfield's release.
Okay,
that's not my fault.
Everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. I was away, and I'm recuperating now. I've had withdrawals.
I've made up for the fact that I should have had 5 days release. Let's be real, 5 days ahead of you. So we've done that. But so Josh, combat. Your initial thoughts on combat?
I love the combat. I could probably do with like a VAT system from Fallout, just to sort
I
of
wouldn't mind that.
just to sort of target people, because I'm forever just like aiming and wishing, and I've got a Grendel that fires explosive shots, so I kind of get by it because I'm like, oh, hit next to him and it'll blow him across the map, and it's fine, and it gets the job done. But I do like that sort of accuracy. I do like the fact that it has been sort of upgraded from Fallout to be more fluid. And if I am mistaken, which I'm sure will be corrected by Tyler in post, I'm fairly
right now.
I'm fairly sure the Doom guys had a hand in the combat. So ID Software,
Yeah, because Doom was
Bethesda,
produced by Bethesda, wasn't it?
yes. So I'm fairly certain the Doom team came in and they asked them and they went, "How do you improve our combat?" And that's why I think the combat's so fluid. I'm sure it was an article, I'm sure it was a video, or I'm sure it might even be a different game.
No, you are correct. I'm looking at it here on IGN.
Boom!
It says
Look at that.
Bethesda clarifies Doom developer ID Software's involvement with Starfield. So yeah,
That's why the shooting's so good.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I enjoy the combat, and I find myself like wishing I was fighting more often. I think the space combat's a bit naff, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I think the dogfighting could be better. It doesn't feel that interesting. It's a bit boring. So, but
it's either too,
to be fair,
it's
for
either
Bethesda,
too easy or either too hard, isn't it?
it's not. No, I don't find it. It's very easy, but it's just not that exciting. I don't think it's that exciting,
yeah,
to be honest.
fair.
I just I'm trying to compare it to other sort of dogfights, and both in space or in sea, I guess.
Well, you can't really
obviously
maneuver,
meant
can
to
you?
be. No. Well, you can if you've got you have to have a very powerful ship and with good thrusters and engines.
But like strafing and doing zigzags and
yeah,
bouncing around.
It's very robust, the movement on
Yeah.
the ship. There's not a lot of I thought I'd be able to do barrel rolls and things like that.
barrel
but you
roll,
just
that's what I'm
can't.
after. Yeah.
It's very naff, and I don't know. I don't feel that excited for. I find it a little bit more of an inconvenience, but combat in person is exhilarating, genuinely thrilling. When you're firing an SMG like a Grendel or the Maelstrom, it's when you connect those bullets to your enemy, it's like, oh, I can feel it. I feel like I can yes! Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yes, I can feel it. It's insane. I love that. But it's amazing. I think my biggest problem is that there's no auto aim, which I don't need an auto aim, but sometimes an auto lock on just to kind of help you would be nice. Because
something that sort of puts you in the thing, and then you auto aim and it goes like that. You're in the vicinity, but just you know what I mean. Just
enough for me to be able to hit them.
little tap.
If I'm within their radius, I want to be able to auto connect. Obviously, if the enemy's here and I'm looking over here, I don't want it to be oh, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
obviously.
No.
But it is annoying. I think because what is annoying is that even if you're poking out slightly and you're in a fight, they'll still hit you. They don't seem to miss. And I'm only playing on a normal difficulty, so it's very difficult. But yeah, that I could be trying to aim at them, and obviously because it doesn't auto lock on, I'm trying to find them, but they're just absolutely nailing me, and I go through ammo and med packs like it's a knife through butter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, I like the combat. I enjoy the combat, but to Bethesda's credit, I do enjoy the combat, and there's nothing I do love more than shredding some people in an outpost. But I also like the fact that the other side of that is you can talk out of situations, and there's been many instances where I've been like, do you know who I am? And I will mince all your people, and they're like, I don't want to leave.
I'm like, fam, you don't know me like that. Come on.
I watched you. We did a similar playthrough right at the beginning. And you go out and like we said, we were talking in the other episode, when you go out and you see these people and they want to take your ship, and you were like, I am not talking to you. Let's attack. Let's get fighting. And you fought about 7 people.
I've changed my ways.
Yeah. Fought about 7 people and just eviscerated everybody and got really decent gear right at the beginning. And then I came out, I was like, you were a hard fight when I watched Tyler do it. I don't particularly want to fight you. I want to see if I can get by this another way. And I was like, I've just rinsed all the people in this compound. Do you really think you're going to stand a chance? And my guy just went, no, that's a fair point. I don't think I won't be for you. I don't think you've got anything on your ship. The Red Dawn, whatever the name is, what are they called? Crimson Dawn?
Crimson Fleet.
Crimson Fleet, yes. The Crimson Fleet don't want anything to do with you. That's fine. You can go on your merry way. And I just sort of like toddled along, walking along. I was like, this game's the best thing I've ever played. I've
actually changed my way a lot, to be fair.
Do you not fight
like,
as much
as much as I love the combat, if I can talk them out of it first, I will.
Yeah.
Just because there is a bit of a morality system in this, and it comes from your companions being like, so and so like that, and that's Bethesda all over, right? You've ever had a companion like it was? They did it more in Fallout rather than in Elder Scrolls, I think. But so and so like that, so and so dislike that. It's like, oh yeah. So I try and talk my way out of things before. Like, I'd rather talk first, fight later. But then I feel like if I've earned a fight, the person I'm fighting deserves it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel morally conflicted. Bethesda games tend to have a bit of there is consequence to your actions. Like, back in the day in like Skyrim, if you accidentally killed someone or you killed someone, the whole town would be like, nah, sod off. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not welcome here. So there is repercussions. And when you go to places like, well, New Atlantis or even Aquila City. I know Josh hasn't really been there yet, but there are people armed with some big ass guns. And they probably are as well. So yeah, I really enjoy the combat. I think it's one of the most rewarding systems in Starfield. I think it's the ground level fighting certainly makes up for the lackluster dogfighting.
Yeah.
I've definitely played better games for that.
You do a lot of combat, so I think that being good, you don't do a lot of ship combat. I've done a few space battles, and I'm like, yeah, fine.
Yeah.
But in terms of the gun combat, you do a lot of it, so I'd expect it to be quite.
I've not really had the opportunity to, because I remember in the trailer they talked about when you're fighting other ships, you can then have the opportunity to board their ship and take it over.
But you need a perk to do it.
I've not done that before. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Ah.
So when
we should talk about perks now, then let's do that.
when you do the ship stuff, you can get VATs for ships, and the basically it opens up a targeting thing, and you can target specific points of the ships, and you shoot the engines out of the ship itself. Because doing that normally, you don't have the capability to be able to target each individual part. So once you've bought the perk that enables you to do the VATs in space, you can target the ship's engines and then go and board the ship, and it'll just sit there and float in the sky, and you can go and board the ship and get on it and do it that way. But you need a perk in order to do that.
So the perks, right? That's probably a good point. Before we get into exploration, perks, they're good, right? The perks that are available are good. They are unfortunately very difficult to unlock.
Yeah.
I mean, I am level 22 and I don't have the option to do as much as I'd like to. Truth be told, I've used a lot of perks to upgrade a lot of the ones I already had, which is annoying because I'm like, I really want to unlock a new perk, but also I need to rank up one of my other ones because I need more carry weight, or I need more. I need my lung capacity to be a lot better, or I need to be able to upgrade my weapons. And it's very annoying. You need to have played a lot of gameplay in order to be able to get to the real core functionality and the more exciting functions of this game.
Yeah, the biggest one of the biggest gripes I have with this game is the perk system in itself is not being able to add things retrospectively. I was saying to you, off air, is you can pick 100 safes, and then when you need to unlock the safe to do expert, it says you need to pick 5 more locks. Now, why do I have to pick 5 more locks? And to sort of explain that, I don't have to pick 105 locks. I just have to pick 5. But I've already been picking 100, so why would that not take into account the stats from what I've been doing previously? Just assume I've already met that quota, and then I can put an experience point straight into that, and it doesn't take me out of it. And it's just all these things where it's they're a nightmare to unlock because if they've already been doing it and taking the details while you've been playing the game, you could just go straight into them and it wouldn't take you out of the gameplay. Like when I'm doing it now, I picked one. I had a perk that unlocked earlier on, and I was like, oh, I've done enough to be able to sell more, get like 5% cheaper, and then sell for 10% more. And I did that doing that instant. I'd unlocked that perk, and then I'd sold a few items between this shop, and I'd done it today, this morning when I jumped on, and I was bouncing between, and I unlocked the new perk. But I was like, great, I've got that, but actually I need more carrying capacity, and I actually want. They're both beneficial to me, but it's like I've unlocked that one, but I've been working towards this other one already, and it's like I should really have them all there and be able to just go, oh, I need that, or I need that, or I need that. And I think that they should either patch in it being added retrospectively to your perks so it doesn't take you out of the gameplay, because it's really tedious. Being the fact that I've already
there's a lot of grinding, isn't there?
Yeah, which I think would be negated and make it more fluid as well if you just took that out and allowed your perks to just be automatically unlocked by what you've already been doing for, I would say, 12 hours I've been on the game.
Wow.
If not more.
I'm on 31 hours of gameplay now.
Yeah. Why do I need another 31 hours to unlock an expert level on safe?
Well, this is what I mean. I'm level 31. I've played for 31 hours. I'm level 22. I still don't have that many perks. I don't think I think I have one perk from the second row of any of the sections.
I ain't got any of them.
It's insane. Like, you have to, it's quite annoying that you have to unlock so much from the first row in order to get to the second row.
But then in that there, you've got your first row of perks, and then in each perk is a 4-stage level that upgrades that perk even more.
I think the problem with that, though, the 4-stage thing, is that not only do you have to do a challenge to be able to upgrade it, I then also have to spend a skill point to do it. To unlock it. So I have to do a challenge, which, granted, they're not difficult challenges, but there's, for example, the one where you improve your fitness. You have to deplete your entire oxygen 20 times. And that can take some... If I was to do it straight, that would take a good... I know it's not a lot of time, but it's like game time, 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
I could be building shit.
You then got to let it recharge all the way to the back to reset. And it's just like, okay. And then I've got to spend a skill point to upgrade it. So if I was like, cool, 20 to 30 times, I'll do it straight away. Oh, but I haven't leveled up, so I've got to wait to do it. So I don't know if I necessarily think it's fair that in order to upgrade something, there's a whole heap of things you have to do. I also don't think I should then spend my skill points, because it's just slowing down me getting some other abilities.
I think...
And you don't level up that fast.
No. And I think there's a reviewer I watch, Greg... I think what's his name? Greg James? Oh, I might be wrong, but he's on Kind of Funny Games. He's a YouTuber. It's really good. Used to be on IGN. Really good, funny guy. And his whole thing is that Bethesda came out and went, this game doesn't start until you complete it. Until you New Game Plus it, this game doesn't start. And you know what? I actually think he's right. Everything that's happening right now, I do actually think he's right, because when you New Game Plus this, I'm assuming you keep all your stuff you've already unlocked. You don't have to go through the grind, and you just go and enjoy the game. Yeah. You just go and do it, and you go and unlock all the safes. You go and unlock everything you need to do, and follow on from there. And I don't think that. I think that when you do this grind to begin with, you're doing this grind so you can do it on a second playthrough. So you can play the game without doing all this, and I think it's tedious to begin with, and I think that's what they're aiming towards, is for you to be fully kitted out, have everything you've got your ships, got whatever you want. You don't have to do the main story. You can just go and scavenge, explore, and pirate, and do whatever you want on a second playthrough. But I think for newcomers, it's really sort of bouncy off it. You're like, oh no, I'm not. like you say, 30 minutes to deplete your oxygen backwards and forwards is really tedious and really annoying. And I could be building a ship or doing a base or shooting people, but instead I'm running up and down the map doing this, trying to get my oxygen down to get something I should already have.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I think the point of a lot of those challenges is designed to just kind of be a background task, right? And you just get on with it, and you'll do it. Because you run around so much in this game that you probably will deplete your entire, I guess it is essentially your stamina. You will deplete your stamina, but it's your oxygen. So it does it's fine in that regard, but there's a lot to it in order to make yourself a much more powerful character in this game. And whilst you don't necessarily need it, there have been challenges. There's one mission that I did in particular that was very difficult, but it's the last mission for the 3-Star Collective, because I have now finished that storyline with that faction. That last mission was tough. I'm not going to lie, it was very tough. Which is good. I like that it's tough, but I can't help but think if I had more access to these perks, I could have made that a little bit easier for myself. And on top of that, ammo is a rare commodity when you're nowhere near a shop. And then when you buy it, it can be quite pricey. Ammo can be very pricey. Now, I'm going to let you all into a little secret. Right? I'm sure you've seen it all over the internet. But go to Aquila City, and there is a shop there called Shepherd's General Store. And you might have to look around. You have to be crouched. But let's say you're walking out of the shop. On the left-hand side, there's a puddle. Just as you come out of it. Crouch down, and you get entire access to that shop's inventory, including the guy's credits. So you take all his ammo, all his med packs, all his credits, and it's not stealing. It doesn't come up as stealing. So then you wait for 24 hours, go and speak to him to make sure he's got everything back again, go back to the spot where you can touch inventory, and it's there again. It's a great little glitch. It's essentially infinite money. I would do it now before Bethesda patch it, because they will definitely patch it. But I have unlimited ammo, unlimited med packs, and unlimited credits at the moment. I figured I did it today, and in the space of an hour, I'd made over 100,000 credits.
There are two types of Starfield players,
and they are
the purists who are just, I'm going to attain my wealth normally.
Josh, if you could mod this game, you would. So don't give me that.
Oh, right. There's no reason to call me out like that. I would. I want to see. I want to go toe to toe with the Millennium Falcon. What can I say?
My favourite mod that I've seen, actually, just quickly, is one that made it so you could go outside of your ship in space. That's the dream. I reckon they'll add something like that eventually.
I do want some official content to be added, the maps and stuff to be added, because I think if you leave it to modders, it's just they're not the most stable things, and if you get too many on there, you can burn your PC out or collapse your game. Yeah,
that's why I'm not. It just feels inauthentic when you start putting too many mods on a Bethesda game. I added loads. I do remember now that I added loads on Skyrim, and I was just like, it's kind of lost its magic and its charm a little bit. It feels like I've just been interfering too much. A glitch is fine, in my opinion. A glitch is fine. It doesn't have any real impact to the game, but mods are just kind of silly. But that's a lot of negative. Go on.
Speaking of interfering too much, what do you think about the exploration?
Well, that was... literally don't know how you've made that connection, but you do love to do that. So I think it's been getting a lot of stick, a lot of the exploration side, and I don't want to tear this game apart because it's fun. I'm really enjoying it, and for the problems that I have, they don't negate from the actual experience. The actual game is a lot of fun. It's been out 2 weeks today for me and Josh, who had the early access, and I still want to play it every minute of the day. So, it is a lot of fun. The exploration, it isn't I think the element of what the exploration you're expecting isn't great. But the element of what the exploration really does offer is, if that makes sense. And I think that makes sense to Josh because he's played it, and for those that have played it, you probably understand. But if I can go into that in a little bit more detail, essentially, going onto a planet and going, cool, I'm going to go and find all the fauna and all the flora and all the resources, that's tedious, right? It's a procedurally generated map every time. It doesn't, once you come off it and come back on it, it will remain that. Like, it doesn't then create, every time you leave and come back, it doesn't change. Like, that's once it's made, it's made. I could go to a random planet, and it would look different for me than it would for Josh. But there are planets that do look the same. Oh no, I thought you'd frozen. You're just really still. There are planets that look the same. Like, I think New Atlantis, that planet will always... Jemison, Aquila, and I can't remember the name where Neon is on. Those planets will look the same. Like, everyone will have them. But for the sort of the ones that are just kind of there, they're all different to everyone. And, you know, I've done a couple of planets and I've completed all the surveying. And after a while, it's like, is really all it has to offer. Like,
yeah,
it is what it is, and it is interesting. There's outposts, and you can go and fight people and stuff like that. I stumbled upon a research center which had you can stumble upon storylines as well.
Yeah,
I went to one where I picked up a note, and this research lab had been taken over by the droids that were the robots that worked there, and they all kind of malfunctioned and turned on all the staff. So there is interesting things, but I think what makes the exploration exciting is more kind of... I don't really know how to explain it. Like, exploring within the story. So exploring... Like, you could pick up a quest. You'll overhear something and it'll be like, cool. And it will be one of those things. Go to this planet. And all it will tell you to do is go to this planet. And you go to this planet and suddenly you open this whole storyline. Yeah. And that's where it becomes exciting to explore. Because you can stumble upon storylines that you'll be doing for the next 2 to 3 hours.
Well, I said to you, didn't I? I was doing a main mission. And I was flying along and it was like, Mayday, Mayday. We've had this attack and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was like... I'm gonna go see what that is, you know. And I went and had a look, and I were on that quest for about 2 days. And
it's fun.
Yeah, it was great.
They're so fun.
It was like a plethora of wealth and loot and ammo. That's the only thing I loot off bodies now is ammo. I just take ammo off bodies all the time.
Ammo and credits.
That's all you do. Equinox? No, thank you.
Everyone has an Equinox. It's so Equinox or a Grendel is all anyone has. At first I'm like, I'll take your guns and I'll sell them, but you get over encumbered so quickly in this game, and I think what makes it more annoying is for the first time in a Bethesda game there are some actual real consequences. Like, as usual, you can't fast travel, so if you're exploring a planet and you're like, I need all these resources, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Either set up an outpost or get them from asteroids. Don't export, because they do take up a shed load of weight, and you deplete your oxygen and then you start dying.
And it's a walk of shame back to your ship, isn't it? Like, you go in.
And imagine if you're so far.
Yeah, and you have to walk back to your ship.
Like a solid 2k walk. You're like, oh, mush.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can run at normal speed either, because it depletes from your normal running speed. So you got to kind of do like a light jog, and you're like, you know,
I'm 15 minutes away from my ship. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there.
You either just kind of do the humbling experience of just dropping everything, and it's like, well, I've got a companion. I've always got Sarah with me, who we got married. Oh, we'll talk about that another time. She's now full. She can't carry anything else. So I'm like, well, we're screwed here, and she's basically my pack mule at this point.
We got married. She's now full, you know.
She's now full. She's full of guns and resources, that girl.
God, so many euphemisms. So yeah, she's great companion.
Anyway, but the exploration of, I don't know, picking up a note and it goes, oh, go here, and you go and explore, like the Mantis storyline. Let's talk about the Mantis storyline, right? That's a really good one to kind of talk about. So, Josh, why don't you explain what that is?
So essentially, you find a quest on a body, and it could be anybody, and it just I think the tagline is "Secret Base" is the name, or
Secret Outpost.
Secret Outpost. That's it. And you listen to the Secret Outpost, the audio log, and it says, "Oh, it's audio or visual." Like you got to read something, and it says, "Go to planet," and you go to the planet, and you have what is essentially a war to get to point A to point B, and it's rewarding because it's got a puzzle in it. You're just shooting people all the time. Combat's great. The environments are really cool. You're outside, you're inside, and then you eventually end up in a hangar where you get the Mantis is a space superhero, as it were. I won't spoil what it looks like or anything like that, but he or she has a outfit and has a
I think it was a she. I think it was a she, right? Because you get voice notes about, and like it's the person's mother.
Well, but I mean, like the mantle of the Mantis could be like he or she. I think in this case it was it might have been a he or she. I'm not sure.
I think it's a she.
Okay, it might be a she. Anyway, you can get their outfit and you can get their ship, and that was the one quest for me where Starfield clicked, where it was like it's not Skyrim. You're not walking between towns and 3 different characters are coming to you. Stop! I'm from the Guards Watch. You violated this, or I'm coming from the Dark Brotherhood, or I'm doing this, and you're getting pinged by people as you're walking down the road. Yeah. Whereas this, it was like I found this quest. I had a look inside my inventory and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" It says secret outpost. What is it? Let's go explore. And it deviated me so off the path and the reward at the end was like, "Oh, I got a ship." A ship that's way better than the one you get at the beginning of the game, and it was just so rewarding. It was that risk versus reward, and it was a hard battle and it was a hard fight. But you get a nice ship at the end of it. And, I do love a good ship. So for me, that was when Starfield properly clicked for me, and I was like, this is it. This is Starfield. This is what it's meant to be.
That ship also has a shielded capacity.
Yeah.
Shielded cargo.
Shielded cargo.
Yeah. So that for those that don't know what that basically means is that one of the big things that's really driven into you is when you go to any of the major city planets. They scan you for contraband. And I've only found a few bits of contraband, but I don't actually know what happens if you get caught with that contraband.
You have to pay a fine.
I initially thought it meant, oh, okay, that's kind of boring. I wonder if it's if you have so much though, they'll send a fleet to come and kill you.
Well, that's the thing is, in more spoiler sort of territory, if you do something bad in this game, and bad, like break the law. I think if you pay the fine, then the Crimson Fleet or I'm sure the Crimson Dawn come after you.
The Crimson Fleet. They're called the Crimson Fleet.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Right, the Crimson Fleet. They'll come after you and try and recruit you. And apparently, according to people, the Crimson Fleet side their faction quest is some of the best of Starfield. But
you can't. So you can join all 5 of the factions because you've got the Freestar Collective, the UC Vanguard, the Constellation, which you'll join anyway. There's that one on Neon that's kind of gangstery. It seems a very Japanese inspired as well, kind of gang. I can't remember what they're called. And then there's the Crimson Fleet, and you can join all 5. But the UC Vanguard and the Crimson Fleet are kind of like two warring factions. And you can join them both at the same time, which is weird, but you can only complete one of their missions. So you can only complete one of their storylines. Because at some point, you have to choose. Which is annoying.
Yeah, and if you are a part of the Crimson Fleet, they're very much a late game addition. Yeah, I'd probably do them quests when you're near the end of finish game.
Yeah, I've not really encountered many of them.
Well, they are the go-to people of who you kill. I mean, I kill a lot of spacers, but if it's not spacers, it's Crimson Fleet. Or the
I've only killed spacers or pirates, and I've not really seen pirates for a while.
Yeah, well, if you do encounter them and you are part of their faction, they are like, yeah, stop killing our people, and you're like, but you have to kill them. Like there are story beats where they do appear and you have to kill them, so you can't get around it.
Maybe don't join them until you've done the main storyline then.
Yeah, I probably would say but as far as perks, you can sell your contraband with them. So there are.
There's also another place as well. There's a space station.
Yeah.
That you can go to, the den.
It's great.
And you can sell contraband there.
But in terms of exploration, I enjoy it for what it is.
Yes, I agree.
I don't. Again, this is what we said before when we were leading up to this. Is what's our expectations and what could this be? I'm enjoying the fact that when I land on somewhere that's a place, it's very detailed. It looks great, and I enjoy it. Have I just randomly landed on a planet and gone for a little walk around? No, I can't be bothered. I only get so much time.
But you can do that.
Yeah, you can
Starfield.
You can do that way. Yeah, that can be your Starfield experience.
You can go and look at because the creatures are all very unique designs, which is fantastic, right? But it is. You got to be aware of the fact there's 1,000 planets to do that on, and it can be kind of. You can go and explore a planet on your own free will, but I kind of like organically stumbling upon a planet for some side quests I'm doing. And I think for me, and I think Josh would agree, the real enjoyment in this game, for the first time in a game, not the first time, but it's been a while since I felt this way. But for me, the side quests are what make this game so rewarding. Yeah. Because they really are rewarding. You can stumble upon a quest that can take you the best part of a few hours, and you'll get an awesome reward at the end of it. Yeah. And
I think there was an article or somewhere I'd read or someone said something. I don't remember what it was, but it says there is over 1,000 planets, or 1,000 planets there is, whatever. But 250 of those planets have been worked on by artists. And are not sort of procedurally generated or not just had this added on. Where they've been curated properly. So
yeah, I imagine not all of that. I think that sounds fair. I'd imagine a good quarter of them to be the same for every player. But the rest, the other 750,
and I'm happy with
that. You can't even land on every planet because, as is with any solar system, there's gas. A lot of them are gas, but they've all got moons that you can land. There's some planets that have got 3 or 4 moons around them, or space stations.
I dropped on our moon. Which
I haven't been on. Have I been on Luna?
I went on our moon. I went thingy. I'm looking at the sky now at the moon now. I was on there. I landed on there and I dropped at an outpost. And like I said to you before, in terms of exploration, I created an outpost on there and I just put things together. I had no idea what I was doing, but that to me is not Starfield. For me, when they did the outpost stuff in Fallout, that's not Fallout for me. It's me and Dogmeat going to survive in the wilderness, and but for someone else, outposting and putting outposts on every planet and getting enough resources to be able to just be a tycoon of outposts and having staff work on them and proper diving down that bottleneck of having that outpost sort of management style, that's someone's Starfield game. Making ships from all the movies that have ever existed is someone else's Starfield game. Being space pirate, and a kind of a dodgy character is what I'm getting from Tyler. Is Tyler's
I'm not a dodgy
he's
character.
There's a place where you can get all this contraband. You can get all this. I started off brutal, but as I've gone on, I've been nicer.
I have been. I have not. I don't break the law at all. I accidentally broke the law. I accidentally broke the law on Neon because I walked into I trespassed on somewhere. I was like, I didn't know that was trespass. It was just an open area, but it's you're currently trespassing, and now you've got a bounty for 350 credits on your head. I was like, oh. But no one chased it. I'm not even sure I still have the bounty on my head. I don't know, but I think there is a lot to do. And I think the real exploration of this game is what you can do with it. Like Josh said, if you want to be a shipbuilder, if you want to be an outpost manager, if you want to explore the depths of space and go and see some cool things, if you want to, be a bounty hunter or something like that, they exist, right? That they do exist, and you can do it all.
Just before we move on to the CNC recommendation, I'd just like to point out anybody that says this game is a 7 out of 10 needs to rethink their career choices.
Yeah, it's definitely at least an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, 9, 10.
I would say 9.
Like it's definitely
it's
a game for everybody, and anybody that goes a 7 out of 10, get in the bin, please.
Yeah, it's not a 7.
Yeah.
I would give it a 9.
Looking at you, IGN, review your games better.
Literally, don't take IGN seriously. Take everything they say with a pinch of salt. But Josh, what is our recommendation for this week?
So I had this recommendation whilst I was on holiday, whilst I missed 5 days of Starfield. I had this recommendation, and
you missed 7 days of Starfield. Thank you very much.
Stop making it worse. And I thought, and I don't know if I've actually recommended it before, so I'm going to go ahead and just drop a pin to see if it is. The Prince of Egypt.
Oh, interesting. No, you haven't. No. That is a good movie.
It flagged up, and I was like, God, that is such a banger of a movie. And Val Kilmer
old
is in
school,
it.
that.
It is, isn't it? And it's great. Like, I was like, oh, and I actually IMDb'd the cast, and I was like, Val Kilmer's in it. And who else is in it? Oh, Ralph Fiennes is in it. Rafe Fiennes.
Rafe.
Old Voldemort's in it. Rafe Fiennes. He's old Ramesses. Is it Ramesses? He plays the bad brother. And Val Kilmer plays the good brother, like Moses in this case. And actually, Val Kilmer voices God in it as well, which I watched a video of like how they did it, and it was like they wanted either a child's voice and a female voice mixed together to be like God's voice, and it's like how they come back. But I think they've got like Val Kilmer's voice being like front and center, and like loads of other voices being the other side of it, and because you don't want to upset anyone. But just I was reminiscing about the songs, and it like "Let My People Go," and it's great animation. It's an adult like story. Like
there's so many good people in it. So you've got Val Kilmer, Ray Fiennes, Steve Martin, Sandra Bullock, Martin Short, Patrick Stewart, Michelle Pfeiffer. There's a hell of a Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, banger cast, isn't it? Yeah, and you did. I never even thought about it. I checked it the other day. I was like, God, this was thick.
Danny
cast.
Glover, Helen Mirren. Yeah, mate, this is a wedged cast.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this is a bad boy. I want to rewatch that movie now.
Yeah.
Great recommendation. It's like during an era of that kind of 90s animation where 2D still kind of ruled the way.
Serious as well.
You had like Sinbad, Road to El Dorado, Iron Giant, things like that. Just classic, cool animation.
We ate good
movies,
then.
Josh.
That was good.
We did eat good, yeah. You know what? Fantastic recommendation. The Prince of Egypt. I don't even know where you can watch it, but if you do manage to find it, watch it. It's a great movie. Cheers.